What's up, guys? This is the second half of my unboxing video for Johnny over at Gecko's on Fire. I just wanted to do a second video in case he wanted to use it. Some of this information might be helpful to anyone considering purchasing from Johnny or considering the FedEx overnight shipping process, because this was really my first time going through this process. So on the receiving end, it was really important for me to find what was called a FedEx shipping center or a FedEx shipping, I wrote the name down, station. I talked to the lady when I picked these up today, and she said they're called FedEx shipping stations, and they're stationed across the state of whatever state you probably live in. So when it comes time to getting Gecko shipped to you, definitely call the customer service number and tell them where you live and find out the closest shipping center or the closest shipping station to where you live. And the reason you want to do that is because from the airplane, packages, items, live animals that you order will go to these shipping stations and then will disperse out on trucks to regular FedEx locations across your state. And what I mean by regular is Walgreens locations, food store locations, any location that is a place where you can send and receive packages from FedEx. But the problem with that is the truck might not get there until late in the evening. And this girl's making an escape here. I don't know if you can see that. She's doing awesome. She's a gymnast. But if you want to pick up your package at 9 o'clock in the morning, which is the earliest time you could pick it up at these shipping stations, then I would definitely recommend calling FedEx customer service, find out where the closest shipping station or shipping center is to you, and disclose all the information that you need to. I had to call FedEx customer service, and the terminology that I was using, it did not seem that they were understanding. I was like, I want to find a FedEx hub. And because I thought that that terminology hub would signify I want to find the place where the shipments go to first. But it didn't. In the mind of the customer service representative, they were telling me locations close to my house. Which, I mean, think about it for a second. A package is not going to come off of an airplane and go directly to the Walmart that's down the street from your house. It goes to an actual center or station, and from that center or station, it disperses and eventually comes to you. But the truck necessarily might not get to you till late in the evening. So for me, my scheduled delivery time was 4:30 in the evening, and it would have been sitting on, I confirmed this with them, it's an unair conditioned truck, and it would have been sitting on that unair conditioned truck for about 10 hours in 100 degrees. These geckos sadly would not have been alive. I doubt it if it was sitting on there for that long. Because 100 degrees outside, inside of the bay, the bed of a truck, inside of a box, I mean, you're looking at potentially 130 degrees, and I don't know, that's just way too risky for me to even consider. So I definitely wanted to pick these guys up as soon as possible. So I told, when it sounded like they did not know what I was trying to get at, I told them, I was like, look, I have live animals coming overnight and I need to pick them up as soon as possible. What is the soonest, what is the earliest location and time that I could pick this package up based off of when this package flies in to my state? And the reason I say state is because they're going to ask for your zip code. Because I asked the lady right now, I was like, what if these geckos, what if the person lived in Tucson, which is 3 hours away from where I picked these guys up? I was wondering, would somebody have to drive all the way from Tucson 3 hours to come pick these guys up at 9 o'clock in the morning? And she said, no, there's another shipment station in Tucson, but you have to call those guys directly to get the geckos shipped to that location. So, long story short, call up your FedEx customer service if this is your first time dealing with a situation like this. Call up customer service and ask them, here's my zip code. What is the closest location to this zip code that I could pick these geckos up by like 9 o'clock the next morning? Tell them it's a live package on the way, and they'll be able to help you from that standard. But definitely don't leave out details. Let them know exactly what your goal is in trying to pick this package up early. Trying to think if I explained all of that correctly or right. But if you have any other questions, talk to Johnny. That's another thing I wanted to mention in this second video, is that Johnny was fantastic for my question process of buying these geckos. I had lots of questions. I never dealt with high colored tangerines before. I never dealt with Infernos before, and I never dealt with Bloods before. But it was genetics that interested me and genetics that I wanted to get involved in. And Johnny was very helpful to answer all of my questions, and still helpful. I have a couple questions now that I think I'm going to ask him, and I have no doubt that Johnny is going to be able to be willing to answer those questions. And yeah, he's just he was a really good businessman to deal with, but cared a lot about the animals and cared a lot about getting your questions answered. And he called me the night before to confirm my address. He called me the morning of to confirm that the package was here. He did a really great job of keeping in touch and just making sure these geckos got to me safely. So I have very positive things to say about Johnny, about the quality of his geckos. You can see the quality of his geckos, and I have very positive things to say about him as far as his business and the way that he conducts business and the time that he puts into the people that are doing business with him, or just anyone who has a question. You can look him up on YouTube. He has a lot of videos on YouTube, Geckos on Fire. You can look him up on Facebook, Geckos on Fire. He has very fast response time in Messenger for communicating about questions that I had, solidifying my purchase order, and confirming my received status of these geckos. And yeah, I'm just a big fan of his page, a big fan of the quality of geckos that he's producing, and just the way he's running his business. So great job, Johnny. Thanks again. And hopefully be talking to you again here soon and passing along some more good information about these guys next breeding season, and sharing some of their potential offspring back to you so you could get some joy with that. So hope this video was helpful. If you guys have any questions, let Johnny know. You could also reach out to me at The Geeky Gecko. That's my YouTube channel. And cool. Right on. I'm gonna have to walk all the way over here to turn this camera off, so it's gonna take a couple seconds, but